volcano this past Wednesday. We had a blast. We hope you did too, and we love you.
Yeah, R&R out on the road thanks to Pete and Vera Mitchell and the staff at Under the Volcano, and we're going to be doing another one of these again, so keep it right here on KPFT 90.1 FM.
This is Freddie Steady Kirch, and you're listening to KPFT Houston, Texas. It's got all the support I could ever want to give it. I love this radio station, and thank you, KPFT, for all you do.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to every nook and cranny where our 100,000 watt transmitter permeates into those FM radios still in use. And by the way, good morning to the entire world who hears us through the magic of the internet and all the permeations that it has, not locally, not statewide, not nationally, but internationally. We have people listening all over the world. Anyway, folks, before we get started, let's go to the geniuses in the studio, Senor Howard Reynolds and Jack Van Bebba.
Well, good morning, Egberto. It's another fine day here at the radio, and Jack is here. He's taking care of things. Even took out the trash this morning. I want to thank him publicly for taking out the trash. I usually get here and there's those cans out front. I went, thank you, Jack, and thank God for Jack. So I don't have any rants today, but I do have an observation we'd like to talk about.
But before you do that, Howard,
Yeah.
before you do that,
Okay.
you always talk about not having a rant. It's an observation or it's something else. Brother, still a rant. You earned your rant.
A rant by any other name would still be a rant, huh? I guess
But anyway,
so.
give me your observation, my dear brother.
The observation is I was listening to Arnie on the way in this morning, and she had the author of a book called Rural White Rage.
Oh, yes.
And I can understand that, and I can also understand, the resistance to DEI and how they're forcing all this on us and such, because the United States is made up of 65% white people, and if you're seeing the white rage, you're seeing the backlash of it by the idolization of Donald Trump. If you look at it, that's a symptom. Donald Trump is a symptom. And I know that we're, endangering ourselves by, what is it? Donald Trump rage syndrome or derangement syndrome, Trump derangement syndrome. But if you look at this and the folks in the rural areas who have had their factories closed, who have had their lands taken from them, and then you turn around and say, "Oh, well, DEI, we need to give these folks a chance in all this." Well, they're not going to do that because they're angry, they're raging out there, and the man who most identifies with them, or that they identify with, is the raging maniac, Donald Trump. That is why he is their spokesperson. Disconnect the dots.
Damn. I heard about the book. In fact, I think I wrote a blog after either Rachel or what somebody covered the book on MSNBC, and I wrote a little blog about it. I wish I knew you were going to come with that rant, but you know what you're going to force me to do after Jack gets his piece out. You already are forcing me to talk about the issue, Howard. What kind of a brother, what kind of a friend are you, man?
Well, I'm the friend who holds the button that keeps you on the radio.
Well, that's true. Wow, you got me there, brother. You got me there, man. Dang, you got me there.
Egberto, you know that I love you, and
I know that.
we work very well together. And between you and I, you're right. Race is stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I want now that you brought that up, I'm going to expand on something that you said there because it is so, so, so important. But before that, I don't want to leave our brother Jack without saying his piece first.
Yeah, man, you stole my rant.
Yeah, he's got something else. He always talks about Mother Earth or the corporatocracy. So what you
Yeah,
got today,
yeah.
Jack?
Well, this is going to be on a healthcare topic. Single payer versus the predatory healthcare system we have now that preys on the patient when they're at their most vulnerable. No human being deserves to be held hostage for their health care. It is government's responsibility to protect the people from these rampant healthcare abuses. Instead, it has delivered us through Medicare take advantage of you right into the clutches of the for-profit ICs, insurance companies, who seek to line their pockets with the people's Medicare dollars.
Those rats.
Those Grinches.
Those
Absolutely.
How
rats,
do they get away
Grinches.
with it?
Look,
How do they get away with it? We let them.
because we
Yeah.
let them. Because we let them. And Jack is 100%. Let me hit. Jack opened this door, and it goes like this, folks. If you are given the option Medicare or Medicare Advantage, which you always will be, Medicare Advantage have a tendency to seem less expensive until you need it. And some people, I will admit, based on how it's presented, it's the only thing they can afford because of having to buy Medigap to cover the 20% that traditional Medicare doesn't cover. But I'm going to tell you something. If you can scrape up the dollars, if you can get help or whatever, go for traditional Medicare. Medicare Advantage is a racket that in the long run will cost you. And it may also cost you your life because it is profit over your health care. And just to make a little quick, I really want to hit up what Howard was saying, but before, I want you to know this. Every time you sign up for Medicare Advantage, you are throwing $1,700 into the pockets of these people selling you that insurance. That's the reason why they're selling it so hard, because they're taking money directly from the United States government, our taxpayers, we the taxpayer, and they're giving it to the shareholders of that company. And in order to get that $1,700 for every dollar, I mean, for every person, they have to ensure that they keep their costs low. In other words, not give you the services you deserve. And for those of you who say, but I love my Medicare Advantage because when I need to see my doctor, I can see it. It's just a matter of time that most people, not all, that most people will get denied because by something that they do need, and realize also that it doesn't cover everything as they advertise. Medicare, traditional Medicare is standard, your government, we the people, and it's always there and it's always dependable, unlike Medicare Advantage. I as a host of a responsible show, it is my responsibility to tell everybody out there that Medicare Advantage is a scam, that the federal government was talked into by rich uh, plutocrats. And by the way, this isn't a Republican thing or a Democratic thing. This is a neoliberal thing that both sides have actually supported. And it's up to us to elect people that see the light and start supporting a single payer system that supports you, not the profits of a few. Now, today's subject is tariffs and high interest rates aren't the cure. Brazil owns Priebus. Columbia faculty walks out. Tariffs and high interest rates penalize the middle class and the poor for corporate ineptitude. Donna Brazile owns Reince Priebus once again. And Columbia faculty walks out for student suspensions and arrests. Now, but before we get started with that, Howard, as he usually does, he nailed it when he says it can be understood the rage of, let's say, rural America, a 65% white country that is, I mean, that is rich. We have more than anything else. And you have this class of people in, we can go down the whole Appalachian Trail, we can go to rural America, that all of their lives, you know, when you look at the food chain or whatever, for lack of a better word, they're on top of the food chain. And you know what? It has always been a myth. Let me just first say that, right? But the one thing that they do know is that in their neighborhoods, hospitals are closing. In their neighborhood, if they want to go to a hospital after they get into an accident or whatever, they may have to travel 50 miles. They may have to travel 100 miles to the city to get services. And when they go to those hospitals, they're going to see they're going to see a group of folks that some look like them and some don't. But what they do know is that in their towns and cities that only look like them, they don't get the services that they deserve, right? I always talk about racism being a stupid thing because, first of all, race is a stupid thing. But we are a racialized country from its inception. And because of that, race, or I shouldn't, since there's no race, your pigmentation plays a big part of how you're treated and who you are in this country. And the dynamics can be complex because of what our plutocracy does to ensure we maintain division. Back in the 1800s, uh, black folk and white folk always attempted to get together to beat the system that was always an oppressor on everybody, not just black folks, but black folks took the brunt of it. And when they got together for this oppressive system, the one thing was always done was to break them up and find a reason to create division. We could go over some histories of different rebellions that were multiracial rebellions back in the 1800s. You don't hear a whole lot about that because, again, hey, from a people that are banning books and don't want you to know history, we don't want you to know history because you may learn too much. But let's get back to Howard's point. Uh, Donald Trump has become that instantiation, that nativist thing. And I don't know why they call it nativist because nativist should really mean the natives in of this country originally who was genocidally killed. But that's another topic. When you take a look at what our brothers and sisters in Appalachia are going through and what our brothers and sisters in rural areas are going through, I'm talking about our white brothers and sisters in these areas now. And then you have a concerted effort to tell them the reason that you are in dire straits is because of those others, those people that don't look like you, those people that are there to live on the dole. All these fallacies are placed into these people's head from the inception, for a long time. This has been done for a long time. But there's a special degree now that it has come down on a whole bunch of folks in mass because of where they live, etc. So Trump does get a chance to spring that message. Now, here's the kicker, brothers and sisters, because this is it. I blame a lot of progressives, right, for allowing that metastasis of fallacies because we have left a cancer the ability to metastasize in these areas. People say, well, those people are racist. Look, yeah, a lot of these people are racist. But you know what? I don't care about racist people with regards to, well, you hurt my feelings or otherwise. I care about policy, right? Because policy affects us all. I don't care if you like me, love me, hate me, or whatever. That doesn't pay my bills. That doesn't put food on my table. That doesn't change me from loving my daughter, etc. But what's dangerous is exactly what Trump and his ilk has been able to do. And that is put some value into a vacuum. We left a vacuum in Appalachia. Appalachia used to be a very democratic place. We left a vacuum in rural everywhere. Remember, rural everywhere used to be democratic. And let's forgetting about the race issue. It used to be democratic. So again, I wrote a book called How to Talk to Your Right Wing Relative Friends and Neighbors a couple years ago. And one of the reasons was, and I got a lot of flack. I was in the coffee party USA and all of that, and I got a lot of flack because a lot of very progressive folks and a lot of and I'm talking about my white progressive folks and a lot of my black progressive folks would would be pissed at me. You're giving these people a pass. You're giving that engaging with these folks. You're giving them a pass. You're making these damn racists. You're forgiving them. You are telling them it's okay. No, that's not what it's all about. It's policy, baby. It's policy. You don't get to somebody's heart by looking at them and telling them they're a racist or telling them they're a sexist or telling them they're a homophobe. You get to their hearts by letting them understand that they're a racist, that they're a homophobe, that they're sexist, just like those who taught me that that I was a homophobe, that I was a sexist, and from within I could make that change. And then that change was long and everlasting, right? Not that I thought I had to be that way to look good. Because what happened to white America for a long time is that the facade was on. The facade was on. In other words, it looked bad being racist, so we hid those feelings. But if you bust the facade, if you bust the scab, you can actually put in that person's mind that, look, we're all really the same, brother. We're really all the same. But messing with how you were reared is hard to break. Getting rid of that sexism, that homophobe for me was hard to break. But when it was broken, it was permanent because it was based on not what somebody told me, but it was based on what I had come to learn and the truth. But I've got calls already, and I don't want to leave Jimmy holding for too long. So let me go ahead and pause this discussion and jump to Brother Jimmy. Come on in, Jimmy.
Good morning, Egbert. Yeah, I'm going to
Good
talk
morning, my
about
brother.
Medicare Advantage. I have Medicare Advantage, and I love it. I have no copay when I go see a doctor or the hospital. It's completely free. So, and I'm with a good doctor who's with Memorial Hermann System over here at Memorial City Mall, and it's really a good deal for me so far. I haven't seen any advantage. It's free for everything when I go see a doctor or a hospital. Everything is taken care of. So I love it. I feel like it's the best deal, and I don't know what kind of a disadvantage I would have. I guess down the line, if there's something really serious, you may be right. But so far now, I love it. And I feel like it's much better than regular Medicare. The government puts more money into Medicare Advantage than it does into regular Medicare, so they have more money to spend on their patients.
Okay. Let me just say this. First of all, you Jimmy, I know you very well, and I don't
Yes.
think we've talked about this in detail yet, but I'm very happy that it works out very well for you, right? Now there's something about you, Jimmy, that because I know you, and that is you eat well, you exercise, you do all these great things you are a very healthy young man, okay? So you have not gone up against whenever you start to cost them more than they're willing to pay. So again, in knowing you, I know that about you. Now the problem is, and by the way, you may be in a good profitable plan right now. In other words, all the people that have taken up, you notice when you get Medicare Advantage, you're constantly thrown in a particular plan with a particular set of services that particular plan provides. But as soon as you break out of those services, whether it be the type of medication that you're going to need, the type of, let's say, therapy that you're going to need, if you break out of the confines of that particular plan that you're in, the next step is that they try to curtail what they're going to give you. Look, I hear you about Medicare Advantage working for you right now, and I'm happy for that. The problem, Brother Jim, is the following. It hasn't been the case for most people on Medicare Advantage. And you said something very important. You said the government spends more on Medicare Advantage than it does on traditional Medicare. That is very true. But here's the kicker, Jimmy. Now imagine if the government instead spent it all on Medicare, not have a 20% the 2080 division in it, and didn't have any co-pays. Guess what? The amount of money we put into Medicare Advantage that gives for every person that signs up $1,700 to the shareholders of that company. Because remember, the government gives about, I don't remember how much it is, but let's say it's $10,000 per patient every year to the insurance company. So if they sign up 1,000 people, they get $10,000 for every one of those people, right? If instead we put that into traditional Medicare, it would be fine. But instead we decide to give 1,700 of that $10,000 to these people. It's unfair. It is fiscally irresponsible. And while it is okay for Brother Jimmy, the individual, for the rest, for a large percentage of Americans, it actually hurts them. Anything else, Jimmy, before you go on?
I will say something about the people that support Donald Trump. I think that a lot of time they're racist. They're against black people. They're against gays, and they're definitely against immigrants. They want them all to go back home. I know a person who loves Donald Trump, and they also watch Fox. In fact, to me, Fox News is just a propaganda wing. They spend their whole hour denigrating Biden and Pelosi and the Democrats, and people fall for that, unfortunately.
You're right, Jimmy. Jimmy, look, you're right. But let me ask you a foolish question. As a white guy, let me ask you, meaning you are a white guy, not me. But let me ask you this. How best do you get to that person you know is a racist? Calling them a racist or making them come to their own conclusion that racism is stupid?
When they make comments against another race, I say that you sound like a bigot talking like that. I mean, you shouldn't be denigrating a whole race of people. There are a lot of very good people in every race, and
a lot of bad people in every race too. But Jimmy, like I said, I know you. By the way, folks, let me just tell you, Jimmy is a known activist around Houston. He works hard in the Houston Peace and Justice Center and many other places. He writes op-eds, etc. He is one of the good guys out there doing a whole lot of work in the movement. By the way, Jimmy, I got to go to Donna, but thank you for who you are, brother.
Thank you, Egberto.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Now. All right, let's go to Donald. Come on in, Donald.
Good morning, Alberto. The field of dreams, if you build it, they will come. That's just a fact in the nature of it. They're going to come in. You can slow them down, you can stop them, but we have laws. And this is the way Trump is going to get the votes that you don't understand how he's getting them. The simple fact that they will persecute that man to the full extent of the law, even when it's so minute that it's not even worth it. I mean, we've got our leading witnesses as the Inquirer. Have you ever read the Inquirer? Now, that is an upstanding, awesome piece of information. If you're at Walmart in line, look at it, read it. It's full of content. You will be the better person. And when you talk about this,
hold on, Donald. Hey, folks, before Donald finishes, Donald is being facetious. He doesn't mean what he just said. Okay, I just want the audience to know that. All right, continue, Donald.
But at least there's some eye candy, or used to be eye candy up there. You can't, because when you talk about Mr. Pecker, that's what got the man in the problem in the first place.
Oh, Lord.
Let's just make that straight. But seriously, if you take 35 cents out of my dollar, 35 cents out of my dollar, why the hell do I not have more say than the person that's only getting 13 cents out of their dollar? You talk about a rage, this, that, and the other. Everybody should be pissed off at the government. Both parties suck. and at least
But wait,
thinking, I
hold on a
hope
second, Donald,
they
Donald. I normally don't interrupt you, but but you said something very important that I think need to be addressed right away. You say both parties suck. Okay, I agree. You say government suck. Okay, I agree. But the next step isn't that you put somebody like a Trump in. The next step is we look, the government reflects us, right? Whether we are confused, ignorant, or otherwise, our government reflects us because in as much as we place the blame on lobbyists, etc., we are the ones who go out there and vote. And let me put it further. You listen to what Brother Howard said earlier about white people in rural areas and why they have the stances that they have. The truth of the matter is, yes, they're ill informed. And I said that we left a vacuum in these rural areas. And here's what I'm talking about. Uh, when these people elect people who took their hospitals away, these people elect people who put tollways in their area so that they can't ride freely on these tollways. If you doubt it, go to 99. So what I'm saying, while you are absolutely right, government, a lot of government sucks, not all of it. I would contend that there are a group of us that are really trying to make government good, but to make government good, you have to vote appropriately. And a democracy, a functioning democracy, require a thinking people, and a functioning democracy requires people who can discern facts from ideology. So while I agree with what you're saying,
can't
I
go
think it is
for
a
one can't group
go ahead.
1% of the population and have their voice louder than the majority. It's
But
never
that's what.
going to work. I
But
don't care what your name is. I don't care what you represent. I don't care what you think you
Donald,
are. I don't care if you're a
Donald,
dog.
a question,
I don't want
Donald,
to cater to you.
brother. I look. Remember, look. You are everything that you're saying is correct. The question is, what do you do about it? And what I'm saying, what you're saying is correct. And by the way, America is still one person, one vote. That's America. Okay. The thing about it is we can't leave an we if we want the Americans to vote appropriately, we have to make sure that we are all educated appropriately. And what I'm saying is what we are doing, the people that we are voting in office are not doing the things that are relevant to our own benefits. That's all.
Exactly.
Don't
If
you
I
agree?
was an African American or whatever, or okay, me, I've been in the legal system before. They throw the book at you. You don't get a jury. You don't go to trial. You plea bargain out. You take the worst of the worst. You pay your fines, your restitution, everything else, and you go on about your business because you cannot fight the system. The system is rigged. The rich man, if that's the way you want to say it, has the power to make a few phone calls to make shit go away. I'm sorry, stuff
Okay.
go away.
No, yeah,
That's the
yeah,
way
you
the
can't say that word,
system works.
Donald. But Donald, here, let's stop for a
Yes,
second.
sir.
Let's stop for a second here because I want to get this in your head, my brother. I don't accept ever that statement that says the rich person is going to get whatever they want. In fact, my good friend on the chat right now, Eric Hayes, has a tendency to say the same thing. That is disempowering to a one person, one vote, which we continue to have. We can choose to vote incorrectly, but we do. And when I say the government represent who we are, it's because we are the ones that put them there. The rich didn't put them there. The rich doesn't have enough voting power to put them there. We did. So we have to accept responsibility to be knowledgeable in what we are doing, and we can't be ideological about it. We have to ask, what is the things that we want? There have been studies that show that it doesn't matter what the average person like you and me want. The rich person gets what they want because they pay to get what they want. And the only reason that happens is because we elect those people they lie to us for voting for. And we allow ourselves to be mentally manipulated. And one of the goals of my program here is to have everybody on, like you're on, right? To try to promote that. And when you say something like, look, I agree with everything that you said, except the rich man is always going to win. Plea bargain yourself out. Hell no. What we are going to do, brother Donald, what we are going to do is educate ourselves and vote and engage our brothers and sisters and make sure that we vote correctly. That's the answer. And you know how we know that's the answer? One person, one vote. Anything
And
else,
that's
Donald,
why
before I
Trump
jump to
is
Joe?
teaching us that's why Trump is teaching us everything we need to know about the system. You see how it's working against him. It could be me or you in that situation,
Okay,
and
let's
he's going
stop
to
there.
fight it. Look how much it's
Let
going
me
to
ask
cost
you.
him.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this because let me ask you this. How is the system? How is the system going after Trump undeservedly?
Because every one of them does it. It's
No, no.
pay
What I'm
to
saying.
play.
What? No, no. What I'm saying.
In
What?
2016, he went up against somebody that is pay to play in politics.
Okay.
Hands down.
Look.
We already
Granted,
know it. We saw it is.
Donald.
And when
Granted.
we talk about
Donald.
morals, everything else.
Donald. I've always known you to be a thinker. I've always known you to be a thinker. So let's back up a bit. Let's back up a bit. Let's drop ideology and all this stuff. Do you think if I were in court for the things the charges that are being placed on Trump right now, do you think I would be able to delay my time? Do you think I would get all these kind? I mean, I don't see why you think that you and I, a black person and not a rich white person, why do you think we would have been afforded the same type of legal maneuvers that Donald Trump has right now? Do you think you would have been afforded that?
Hey,
That's a yes or
I'm
no question.
011811322. Look, I'm 011811322. I've already been in the system when I was 17. I got nothing given to me. Everything I've gotten from the sweat of my own back, starting from zero.
I have no doubt about that, Donald. Donald, I have no doubt about that. And my question to you though is why do you think somebody like you who's busted their butt and worked all of their lives? Think about this, Donald. Because you are what kind of symmetry are you seeing between you and Donald Trump? Forget about, I mean, you're talking about the government coming at you. I mean, how long has it taken the government to come at Trump for the different things that he has done, unless you don't believe the things that other people have said that he's actually done, unless you don't believe that his charities where he was taking money out of his 501c3s, unless you don't believe that when people did work at his hotels, he would sue them just not to pay them, unless you don't believe that he really did things to women that you've heard him admit to on tape, when on tape. What I'm saying is my problem with Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump should not be the bearer that the people like you, I don't understand uh, other than that race disease that Howard spoke about. And again, sometimes it's not even overtly. Sometimes it's
not.
just
Hold on one
carnal. Yeah.
And when he had the opportunity, he did not go on stage when they did not announce Ben Carson for the debate. He stopped, stood by that man's side, and would not enter into that arena until they acknowledged him. Go back and look at it. That's somebody's character that you cannot change.
Hold on a second though. Look, that may be true. I don't remember that particular incident, but I take you at your word that occurred. Okay, but what I'm saying, let's go back when we talk about when your statement was that the system is going against Brother Trump. Okay, and I'm saying, look at all the things that he has done. That the system didn't go after him. That had I done that, I would be in jail forever. I mean, again, we itemize that. We're not talking about anybody else. We're just talking about Donald Trump. If we go ahead and look at all the illegal things that he has provably done, if we look at the things that he has done to women, provably, And I can't understand good people other than for the rationale that Howard spoke about earlier. I can't understand good people standing for him. I can't understand you, somebody that I respect, because of a lot of what you say. There is a switch here, brother. There is a context here that I speak about all of the times, that where we have to be able to separate the issues that sometimes we don't. Is the system broken? Yes. Is our government broken? Yeah. But you don't elect somebody who just comes out and say, I'm going to go out there and bust it open, or I'm going to go out there and change the state, and then allow that person who's going to do that to have the flaws that a Donald Trump has. Because
They're
it
human
just,
flaws. They're human.
but the kind of flaws, the kind of flaws,
I would have voted for Ben Carson all day long.
Howard,
All
the
day
kind
long.
of flaws, the kind
You
of
said you
flaws
didn't
that
like his IRS statement.
the flaws that Donald Trump has should be fatal as a national leader. Again, if you take a look at his flaws, if you take a look at the things that he has done, I don't think it would have been tolerated from any. Again, I think he suffers from the rich being rich as well. The things that he has done to women, provably, the things that he has done to others financially, provably, the things that he's done to other people like you and me, provably. I don't see how people continue to support him. But we can't. I got to go to somebody else, brother Donald. So let's keep talking
Go
about it
ahead. Go
because.
ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to Joe. Come on in, Joe.
Hey, good morning, Alberto. Plus
Good
one
morning, brother
to Don,
Joe.
plus one, buddy, brother. Good
Yeah,
morning. So I think that if he had provably done things to these other people, I think he would have been charged and convicted for them, right?
We would, but he wasn't. No, that's not.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That tells you that's all a bunch of stuff on TV, right? I think people need to just turn their TVs off.
No,
The TV
Joe.
All right.
Joe. Let me ask you this: the one thing you could say that if you hadn't heard a tape with him saying what he does to women, right? A woman said before that tape. Wait, Joe. You made a statement. Let me make a statement, please. Let me make a statement, Joe.
Okay.
Before he said what he did to women, other women came out and said he did that to them. And then on a tape, he admits that he does that kind of stuff while he's having boy talk in a bus that was taped. So that is something that we know happened. Likewise, all the suits, times that.
Stop right there, Egberto. So that was a secret recording made by a reporter when Trump thought he was with a group of friends, basically just trash talking like a freaking jock, right? That's how I heard it. Right? He was bragging, right? And he's a loudmouth, blowhard braggart, right? And I agree with you. He's not my favorite guy, right? But there's nobody running. People who start to run, they get bought off along the way. They're the next people, or they get blackmailed.
Okay, Joe, I get it. Joe, I get it. I get it.
I want to ask you something.
Go ahead.
You said I don't understand this. I don't understand you. Okay, so let's imagine that 30 months into the Trump presidency, he decides, and Joe Biden's candidacy is coming around, right? He's deciding he's going to run. And all of a sudden, out of Vidor, Texas, right, a county prosecutor with collusion from the White House goes ahead and they charge Joe Biden with bribery, with corruption, with all this stuff, right? And they bring him to trial in Vidor, Texas, with a Republican DA in a Republican county, right, and a Republican state, right, filled with people who despise him, right? What would you and because that is exactly what's going on with Donald Trump and these other things. These attorney generals, these county prosecutors, they're not career prosecutors. They're people with law. They're Democratic politicians with law degrees looking to move up. That's all that they
All
are.
right,
Except
now,
Jackson, he's
Joe,
downright
Joe,
evil.
Joe. I mean, look, we can spin it any way we want to, right? But here's the reality. Here's the reality. And you can call it shop talk, whatever. That's one of the issues with patriarchy. That's one of the issue with sexism, etc. We accept guys who do these things and somehow make it okay. The truth of the matter is deep in your heart, I know you know that Donald Trump is the kind of guy that you heard doing that crappy shop talk. That stuff was psychologically tested. That response that Trump gave about this is boys having boy talk and all of that was psychologically tested to reach you and some others. Okay, so that is what the truth of the matter is. The guy's a sexist, misogynist. We know that. You'll see how he treat reporters. We see it with our own eyes. Not only that, the guy has stiffed people and constantly, went bankrupt so often. I mean, look, that's the reality. You can't argue the factual realities. Now you can be so mad at the system that you say I can accept him even with all these flaws, but then don't consider yourself fair. But look, Joe, I know where you stand, and we'll keep talking as usual. You know, you have a platform here. I give you your opportunity to talk, but I have more people that I got to go to. So we'll talk another time, okay? And by the way,
Jack,
wait. I did get that email you were supposed to send me at kpft@politicsandright.com. Never got it.
I sent it yesterday. I'll check. I sent it 30 minutes after we talked.
Please make sure because I didn't get it. Thank you, brother. Peace. All right, let's go to Marlene. Come on, Marlene.
Hey, I love that you get off nights, but so I caught the tail end of what Joe was saying, and my take on that was that, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello?
I'm here, Marlene.
My take on that was that he was arguing that they're out to get Donald, not that Donald was innocent.
Mm-hmm.
So does he believe that he's guilty and they're looking for things, and of course you can find things if you look? Or does he believe Trump is innocent? He didn't say that he thought he was innocent.
Yeah, no, if you listen to Joe and what a lot of these guys say, they're not necessarily fond of Donald Trump. I mean, Donald isn't fond of Donald Trump, but folks look, this is my opinion about Donald and Joe, right? I think that they are so fed up with the system, and Trump, in my opinion, and Joe and Donald, y'all can tell me about this tomorrow, but I think that he represents that pushback because I don't think neither Donald or Joe are overt racists at all. I don't, right? But I do think.
I'm not saying that, but.
Go ahead, Marlene.
Well, I'm not saying that they're racist. That I just wanted to know if Joe thinks he's innocent.
I don't think Joe thinks. I think Joe has said many a times that he acknowledges that Trump has done things, but I think a lot of times they create a false equivalence between the things that Trump has done and the way, let's say, a Hillary operates or a Biden operates. I think they despise Hillary and Biden so much so that they're willing to accept things that Trump does. And I know that they wouldn't get away with the things that Trump has gotten away with.
But when you say they're tired of the system, what system are we talking about? Are we talking about OSHA laws, child labor laws? I mean, what system? The FDA? I mean, what system do they want to do?
Let me explain that, Marlene. And this is what I was trying to talk with Howard.
I just shake my head thinking, what is it that I just read today that in Louisiana they passed a bill to repeal allowing children, minors, to have a lunch break.
That is true. That happened in Louisiana. And again,
don't tell me we don't need child labor laws. Don't tell me that we don't need CPS. No. This is what they're doing. they're tired of the system. They need to come right out and say what the system that they want to do away with. Do they want to do away with air conditioning? The regulations for planes. I mean, what?
Marlene, you see, again, you are from a school of thought, and that again, you're from a school of thought. In other words, you went through you have been primed with information. You have been around folks with this information that has allowed these things to grow in your mind and understand why they're there, right? When you go and when I complain about what progressives have done in by leaving a vacuum, what I'm talking about is I sit down. Look, first of all, when I go ahead and engage right wingers, I get a lot of flack from my folks and like, you don't need to be doing that. You shouldn't have to do that, etc. Right? And what I said is, no, we have left a vacuum. We have allowed a false group, a false set of what people would like to purport of facts into these spaces. And yes, I know there are some who would say, no, these people are just racist, or these people. I look, racists exist, yes, and a lot of these people are, but that's not my concern. My concern is their interests, voting their interests. Uh, Look at what you just said. You brought up OSHA and kids working. You brought up airplanes and them crashing. You brought up all these issues, Marlene. And these are issues that don't affect you based on skin color. So I don't care if you're racist, right? But by you voting against your own interests, it's not your racism that's hurting me. It's your vote that's hurting me. So I'm trying to tell folks that we need if we concentrate, Bernie got a hell of a lot of flack because he concentrated on economic issues more so than other types issues. And then you had those that came in and said, but race is economics, which is true. But if you solve the economic issue, there are certain things that are easier because you don't allow people to use it as a cudgel. So when it comes to what you just said, everything that you said is correct about how are they thinking. The thing is, we've left a vacuum in there to allow false information to come in. Climate change doesn't work. Let me give a great example, Marlene, and then I got to ask you to say a few words and then go to Patrick. But let me give you a good example. A good example. The Republican Party used to believe in purchasing carbon. In other words, carbon exchanges. All right. That was the Republican way of handling climate change. In other words, they used to believe in climate change, but they wanted a capitalist manner in solving the climate change. And how was that going to be doing? You exchange carbon credits, right? I don't remember exactly what it's called. It was carbon something that they called it. Now, suddenly, right, as Democrats came around to say, okay, we're going to start accepting carbon credits, they turned that argument into that will hurt the economy. We don't believe in that. And after all, climate change is a hoax, right? So we have allowed that vacuum to exist, and we have to close that vacuum. And you don't close that vacuum by just telling MAGA you are a whole bunch of racists, whatever. You close that vacuum with education. All of them are not going to come with you, but eventually some thinking folks will. Marlene, give me a closer so I can get to Patrick.
Well, I just think that when they talk about the system, we have to what part of the system. They've done away with, they've deregulated so much that, if the regulation that was placed on whether it's small businesses, whatever, if it's wrong, then investigate and change part of it, but don't do away with, you don't throw out the kid with the bathwater. You gotta say
I get it. Marlene, let me ask you something before I let you go. Did you hear did you listen to my discussion about why we progressives, I'm assuming you're a progressive, have a job to do, as opposed to calling them out that we have to fill the vacuum that was left to be filled by the people who mislead them? Did you understand that piece that I tried to get across?
Yes, I do, but I think you make them think when they say the system. You have to not call them on it, but what part of the system don't you like that needs to be changed?
And that's and Marlene, Marlene, I think that's a discussion that we have to have directly with them in a manner that folks are listening. So anyway, look, thank you very much, Marlene, for calling. I appreciate your call.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one. Let's go to Patrick. Come on in, Patrick.
Hey, good morning. I wanted to touch quickly on about 3 things that have come up. Yesterday, we were speaking with the doctor. I think his name might be Jim or something. I think he's been probably questioning some things that he has accepted his whole life. It sounds like he's starting to really ask questions of himself and just the world around him. I spoke of immigration yesterday. One thing that really stood out to me was he said that he feels like it should be on the responsibility of the person coming here to assimilate and be proud and want to participate in the system. And I'm bringing this up to him because I think he is open-minded. What I would like him to really consider is I don't think that should be solely the responsibility of the immigrant, because if I immigrated to a country and 1/3 of the people wanted me out, 10% of them wanted me dead, and all the rest just wanted to exploit me, I don't think I'd be able to want to assimilate. So I think that we should be looking at our own behavior and wondering, when we're asking why some of these folks that come here don't want to participate the way we want to. That's all I want to say about what the doctor had to say. Now, about what Donald and the chemist said, I keep hearing these guys saying the system's broken, all these people are corrupt. Why are they trying Donald? It's a witch hunt. Well, they should be saying, thank goodness they're trying him. Let's make this easier to make everybody more accountable, because our system is in an emergency. We have a lot of people that do not have our best interest in here.
Hey,
We should be making
Patrick,
it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I'm running out of time now. So can you make the third point real quick?
Well, I wanted to bring up as far as immigration and human trafficking goes. I just want to make some people aware that mail order brides is a form of human trafficking, and I'll talk to you about that some more maybe tomorrow or the next day.
I appreciate your call, Patrick. Thank you so kindly for calling. Let's go to D. D, you're on. Hello, D.
Maybe they just got tired of waiting.
Okay.
All right. Let's go
all
to
right,
Brian.
let's put her on hold again. Let's go to Johnny then. Oh, come
wait,
on
wait,
in,
wait.
D.
Hey, I'm sorry about that. I misplaced my mute button.
That's all right, D. Go ahead, D.
Oh, I was supposed to meet with Steve and just talk about my Ignite Purpose. I think I might be on the wrong show.
Oh yeah, okay. If you need to talk to Steve, he starts from about an hour and 8 minutes from now. Okay, D.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Have a great day.
That's all right. You have a great day. Let's go to Johnny. Come on in, Johnny.
Hey, you guys. I hope you can hear me. Okay.
Yes, sir. But Johnny, we've been missing you. But come on in, brother.
You mentioned how the capitalists, at one time they support the idea of carbon purchase to deal with the environment, created by problems dealing with unfettered capitalism. You know how we know that they're not really serious about addressing the environment? Is that they are not interested in resolving the problem of capitalism. In other words, if they supported a hybrid economy, in other words, capitalism combined with horizontally owned businesses, co-ops. If they supported that, then we know that they would be serious. And now we have the proof. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you very much, Johnny. As usual, thoughtful commentary. Hope to hear you tomorrow. Let's go to Brian. Brian, let me have it quick, brother.
Okay, yeah. Man-made global warming is a myth. That's all there is to it. It's a total myth. You can look up through NASA that the ice caps on Mars is melting at the same rate as here on Earth. So is it the Martian with their economy that is melting their ice caps also? That study was done in 2015. Y'all can look it up. It's not made up. Man-made global warming is a myth. It's from NASA. Thanks, and y'all have a good day.
Thank you very much, Brian. All right, let me just tell folks again. That is the vacuum that we've created. That is the vacuum that we've created. I love Brian, but Brian is simply wrong. Brian doesn't know more than most scientists on the planet. But anyway, I get a chance now to fly right back to Brother Howard. Howard, come on in.
Okay, I was listening to the conversation between you and Donald, and how Donald had the book thrown at him, and
Yes.
how Donald Trump is getting all these breaks and delays and everything else. Donald, you made your point. You know,
Yeah.
Donald is a white guy who got the book thrown at him, and he didn't do half as much as Donald Trump has. So
Yeah.
he made his own point. I just wanted to point that out. And Donald, thank you
But
for calling it. We appreciate you.
yeah, we love Donald. But let me the other thing that I think Donald fails to see is I have always spoken about race is stupid and that racism is used to control. And the fact that you have Donald, not a rich man, that the system threw the book at him, white guy, and Donald Trump, rich white guy, gets all the breaks. It has always been the people at the top, the very few on the top. And by the way, I'm going to tell you something else that people don't like. If you notice, even when POCs, people of color, get to the top of the spectrum, to the level of Donald Trump, many of them, they don't see things the way most of us see it. Then I'm talking about good black people and good white people and good Latino people, everybody else. They suddenly adapt the capitalist notion and the same ills that the people on the top have created from the inception of the country. They're doing the same thing. You don't
That's
hear
because they want
any
to
of
keep their
them.
money.
Right.
They just want to keep their money.
It
It
has
doesn't make
never
any
been
difference what color.
right. It has never, folks. It has never been about race. It has always been using race as a tool. But anyway, give me a closer, Howard, before we go to Jack.
Well, that's about it. Jack, what you got?
Well, I think we covered just about every topic today, so it's confusing.
Ice
Well,
caps on
we've
Mars.
covered.
That was my favorite.
I know, but we covered every topic except the topic that I wrote for today. So please go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter for the topics that were supposed to be today. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. All my callers, I love you all. I don't care what your ideology is. I want to talk to you. That's what we're all about. We are one country. We're going to stay one country, and we're going to get together as one country. All right? My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government by and for the people. We're in Wisconsin today, where Governor Tony